Welcome to Global Campus Distance Learning Week 7, A World of Mysteries. Everyone loves a mystery. Mysteries are happenings that are difficult or impossible to explain. The world is full of mysteries, and there are many different types. Nature's mysteries, strange artifacts, and lost civilizations are just a few of the world's mysteries. Can you think of any? Let's explore a few. Stonehenge is one of the greatest mysteries of history. On the Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, are carved bluestones that each weigh 6 tons and are stacked on top of each other. The stones are dated back to 2500 to 3000 BC. How they were created and what they were for are still a mystery. Some believe that they are a result of a glacier, and others believe it predicts an alien invasion. Most believe it is a burial ground. Cremated remains have been found around the site. No explanation has been adopted yet. What do you think? Nessie, Loch Ness, Scotland. Some people believe that a marine creature inhabits this loch, the Scottish word for lake, in Scotland. Much of the evidence supporting its existence has been disputed, and it is widely thought that the monster is a myth. A monster in Lake Champlain? Indigenous people that have long lived and hunted near Lake Champlain, the Abnaki and the Iroquois, have their own legends about a large creature inhabiting the lake, which looked like a large horned serpent or a giant snake. Modern Americans call it Champ, and their opinions about it tend to fall into one of two camps. Either it's a prehistoric whale or it's a log. Whatever it is, both the Vermont and New York state legislatures have passed laws protecting it. Champ is also known as the mascot of the Vermont Lake Monsters baseball team. What is your opinion? Have you heard any stories about Champ sightings? Why did the octopus walk out of the sea? No, this is not a riddle. It really happened. In 2017, dozens of octopuses emerged from the ocean and crawled along the coast of a seaside town in Wales for a nightly pilgrimage to no one knows where or why. National Geographic reached out to several experts who provided various theories, including octopus dementia, displacement of the octopus population because of storms, and an increase in the octopus population that led octopuses to search high and low for food. But none of that explains why it suddenly stopped 3 days later. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, real or fake news? Some people believe that Sasquatch is a large hairy monster which has been seen in the American Northwest. Even after numerous sightings, experts assert that the detections are a combination of folklore and hoaxes. Some believe that Sasquatch is a supersized ape that is living remnant from the time of the dinosaurs. What do you think? For more monsters, check this link. Many sand dunes throughout the world produce noises, each making different sounds. Some produce a hum like the sound of bees, or music like a Gregorian chant with more than one note, a puzzle to scientists for years. The noises are probably due to wind passing over the dunes, or when sand grains move down the slopes of the dunes. The notes produced depend on the size of the grains and the speed at which they flow, but why they make a sound like music is still unknown. Crop circles. Crop circles, strange patterns that appear mysteriously overnight in farmers' fields, provoke puzzlement, delight, and intrigue among the press and public alike. The circles are mostly found in the United Kingdom, but have spread to dozens of countries around the world in past decades. Who or what makes them? What do you think? A. Little green men or women from outer space. B. The weather. C. A human being. The answer? There are many theories, but the only proven cause of crop circles is humans. Their origin remained a mystery until September 1991, when two men confessed that they had created the patterns for decades as a prank to make people think UFOs had landed. They never claimed to have made all of the circles. Many were copycat pranks done by others, but their hoax launched the crop circle phenomena. Most crop circle researchers admit that the vast majority of crop circles are created by hoaxers, but they claim there's a remaining tiny percentage that they can't explain. The real problem is that despite unproven claims by a few researchers that stalks found inside real crop circles show unusual characteristics, there is no reliable scientific way to distinguish real crop circles from man-made ones. The Crooked Forest. Around 400 strange-looking pines grow in a forest in West Pomerania, Poland. They grow with an up to 90-degree bend right at their base. The reason why is not known, and what makes this phenomenon even stranger is that the crooked trees are found within a bigger forest of normal, unbending pines. It is believed that they were planted in the 1930s, and whatever it was that made them bend occurred when they were 7 to 10 years old. But to this day, no one has figured out what that was. The Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is the name given to an area where mysterious disappearance of planes and boats have occurred. Off the coast of South Florida in December 1945, radio contact was lost with a group of military planes carrying 14 men. 13 more servicemen also vanished when they were sent to search for the missing planes. 2 passenger planes in 1948 and 1949 disappeared in the area with no explanation or wreckage found. Additional disappearances include 2 passenger planes in the 1940s, as well as other boats, ships, and planes. Theories include aliens, bad weather, electromagnetic activity, and methane gas bubbles. The Bermuda Triangle mystery still has not been solved. Does intelligent life exist on other planets? Do you ever wonder if there is life on other planets or in other worlds? Finding out will probably require an actual message. Projects like SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, are an effort to detect evidence of technological civilizations that may exist elsewhere in the universe, particularly in our galaxy. These projects have been listening for a message, so far unsuccessfully. There are at least 2 possible explanations. 1, there have been no messages, or 2, the messages are there, but nobody knows how to detect or recognize them. Mysterious and mystical plants. In the Hirado Shinden Han fiefdom of Japan, sometime between 1603 and 1868, there was an elegant mansion located along what is now known as the Sumida River. It had a massive chinkaping oak tree with sprawling branches that arched right over the garden walls, and which was highly regarded by the people of the area. The strange thing about this tree was that it is said to have never dropped a single leaf, no matter what the season. The tree is gone, and no one knows why this happened, but the tree lives on in legend. Another mystical type of tree in Japan is called the Jiminju, the human face tree. These peculiar trees were said to have pinkish fruits that look like human heads, called Jinmenshi, or human face child, complete with eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Supposedly, the fruit were prone to fits of laughter. If one of these fruits were to laugh too hard, it was said to fall from the tree and wither away. They were also said to occasionally whisper or talk, which could be rather startling and unsettling indeed to anyone passing by. The fruit was said to have a very pleasant, sour-sweet flavor, if one were to gather up the nerve to actually bite into one. Mysteries involving humans. There are many mysteries involving humans, from art thefts to disappearances. Can you think of any? The Flannan Isles Lighthouse disappearances. In 1900, 3 keepers of the Flannan Isle Lighthouse off the west coast of Scotland disappeared under the strangest of circumstances. The lighthouse was manned by a 3-person team, with a 4th man rotating in from shore. On December 26, 1900, the relief keeper arrived to find the lighthouse keepers gone. The only sign that anything was wrong was an overturned chair near the kitchen table. No bodies were ever found. Theories range from drowning to kidnapping by foreign spies, a ghost ship, or a giant sea monster. Whatever happened back in December 1900 at the Flannan Isle Lighthouse, we may never know. To watch a movie based on this story, see The Vanishing. The Bennington Triangle. This is an area in Bennington named by Vermont author Joseph Citro, where as many as 5 and possibly up to 10 people disappeared between 1920 and 1950. The area has also been a hotspot for UFO activity, Bigfoot sightings, and strange lights and sounds. Some local folk stories say that Native Americans regarded the area as cursed and avoided it. There were also tales of hairy wild men and other strange beasts in the woods. The Gardner Museum robbery. What happened in the early morning hours of March 18, 1990, at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston? 2 thieves, dressed as Boston police officers, were let into the museum after telling the guard they were responding to a disturbance. That guard and a second one were handcuffed and tied up. The thieves stole 13 famous and valuable pieces of art valued at $500 million. The FBI has been investigating and believed the paintings were taken to the Connecticut and Philadelphia areas, but still have not solved this mystery. A $5 million reward has been offered for the return of the paintings. Where do you think they are? Do you think the guards were involved? Solve this mystery. The case of the convenience store robbery. "Thank heavens you're here," exclaimed 17-year-old Robbie, the clerk at the little corner convenience store where I often buy my morning coffee. I ducked in out of the rain to grab a coffee and a muffin on my way to meet my niece Crystal before school. She always called on me to help when she had problems, and this one was a pretty small one. She needed to borrow $5 for a class trip. The little store was warm and cozy despite the driving rain outside, and I was pleased to note that Robbie was obviously doing a good job of keeping the place neat and tidy. The floor was spotless, and all of the shelves were neatly arranged. "What's wrong, Robbie?" I asked. "You just missed them," the young boy told me. "2 men just burst into here, held a gun on me, and demanded all the money in the register. Mr. Lone says that if that happens, we should just give it over, so I did. But as soon as they were gone, I ran outside to see if they could get their license number, or at least see the car they were driving." "What did you see?" I asked him, frowning at the thought of my niece's friend in such a dangerous situation. "Well, I had to run halfway out into the parking lot, but as they passed under the light at the end of the road, I realized that it was Bart Peterson's car. I can't believe that Bart Peterson just robbed the store." "I don't believe it either, Robbie. You better put the money back, because if you tell the police that story, you're going to be arrested." How did the detective know that Robbie was lying? Here's a hint. Please wipe your feet. The answer is on the next slide. Here's the answer to the mystery on the previous slide. It was pouring rain outside, but the floor was spotless. If two men had come in and stood at the register, as Robbie said they did, their wet footprints would have left mud on the floor. Also, he would have dragged in more water and mud when he ran out of the store and back to get their license number. Here are a few more riddles to solve. Number 1. In the Old West, a man rides into town on Friday. He stays for 3 days and leaves on Friday. How can this be? Number 2. There is a man walking down the road dressed entirely in black. There are no lights on anywhere and no moon. A car with no lights comes down the road and manages to avoid the man. How? Number 3. A father and son are in an auto accident. The father dies and the son is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The doctor looks at the boy and says, "I can't work on him. He's my son. How can this be?" Answers to the riddles on the previous slide. Number 1, the horse's name is Friday. Number 2, it's daytime. Number 3, the doctor is the boy's mother. Here's some other mysteries to check out. The 30 most fascinating mysteries in America, Vermont unsolved cases, a 1-minute mystery, and some more riddles with answers.